Shalom, giving all praise and glory to the most high power of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's worthy to be praised for everything. As always, I'm going to start with Colossians 3:17. And whatsoever you do, a word or deed, do all by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. Giving thanks to the Most High and the Father by Hashem Mashiach Yahushua. In the name of the Lord and Savior. So, I want to go into a little prophecy. I want to go into spiritual awareness of ourselves and where we could be at or where we cannot be at. You got to make the choice whether you're going to be on the right side or the wrong side. You're going to choose righteousness or you're going to choose to be wicked. One or the other. Ain't no in between, you know. Because you lukewarm, but my Savior say he's going to spew you out of his mouth. And out of his mouth will come a flame of fire where you're going to be burning people up. So you want to be there. You want to be all the way in it or don't leave it alone. Leave it alone. So let's look at it. Let's go to our people first. Go to Ezekiel 9:4. Hear the cry of the Most High. He said he cried to us. He came to us and we just rejected him. Don't the churches like to say that? But as many as received him gave he power, spiritual power, to become the sons of the Most High, even to them that believe on Mashiach Yahushua, you know? So he gave us power. It's just a matter of, are we going to accept it or not? You know, where you get the most power to be able to receive the blessings in a real way in the last days when war is in all the streets is to be applying and rehearsing the righteous acts now and getting used to that. So when it come and you already been doing all this wickedness, you here, there, and ever hit and miss all the time. No. When it comes, then you're going to find yourself being mocked and laughed at by the Most High. A lot of y'all like to talk about the Most High, the Most High, the Most High. You better understand the Most High ways and thoughts are not our ways and thoughts. So how you think is not necessarily the Most High's thought. How we act is not necessarily the Most High's ways. That's why only way we're going to know how we're supposed to be is knowing what the scriptures say and changing as the scripture would have us to change. You see? So let's look at Ezekiel. Yasharallah. This is to you. Yasharallah. Ezekiel 9:4. Ezekiel 9:4. And the Most High said unto him, go through the midst of Jerusalem, the city. Salakia. Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, that's wherever we are as Israelites, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations, the filthy wicked acts, the sins that be done in the midst thereof. The sins that be done in the midst of our people. That's why I say, you get by yourself sometime, man, you got to cry out to the Most High, knowing all the sins and the abominations, filthy wicked acts that they doing amongst our people before the Most High. And even those that call themselves being in the light and still rolling in darkness and think they're in the light. It's sad. That's why he said, hey, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, wherever we are as the Israelites, and set a mark upon the foreheads, that's the minds of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof. People celebrating all kind of things and it's like abominable, but they can't tell you the Most High's holy days. The days that we said we're going to honor in the victories over our enemies. But I bet you they know whenever the enemies' days are and when they coming in consecutive order. At a young age. Here we are. Don't even know. And following the custom of the heathen. He said, learn not the way of the heathen. So you got to think about, let me be opposite of the way they are, in knowing that we were in the captivity, slavery, bondage for what? Our iniquity, for our sins. That's why he said, men are sighing and crying for all the abominations that's being done amongst us. He said, and to the others, he said, in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city and smite, kill. Let not your eye spare. You don't spare nobody. Neither have ye pity. Ain't gonna be no pity. It's a spirit that the Most High gonna put on this earth with the men that's sighing, that's crying against all the abominations that's being done amongst our people. He gonna put the spirit on them. It's coming, y'all. And to the others, he said, in mine hearing, go ye after him through the city. And what? And smite. I mean, kill him. He said, let not your eyes spare. Don't spare nobody. Neither have ye pity. This is what he said. Listen what he said to kill. He said, slay utterly, old and young. This is coming, y'all. This is coming. He said, kill utterly, old and young, both maids and little children, and women. So he said, kill who? Slay utterly, old and young, both maids, that's young women, and little children. Little wicked children gonna be put to death too, and women. Women. But come not near any man upon whom is the mark. That's actually have learned, live it, and applying this truth in their life to the end. And begin at my sanctuary. Begin with my people, he said. Then they began at the ancient men, which were before the house. Start killing the ancient men, the older men. Now you say you've been in the truth this long? Hey, you got to look at that side, that's the righteous side of things you've done, enough that our name could be written in the book of life, and the wicked things that we've done, that you'll be thrown in the lake of fire, where the worms never die and the fires never quench. You compare the two. Take a list. Put a line down the middle of the paper and put what you're dealing with in this truth and what you're dealing with for yourself, and say you think you're going to make it to the kingdom. That's serious. I always say I ain't never done enough. I don't know. I don't feel I ever done enough. Whatever I've done, I feel it's not enough. Therefore, I'll try and do more. So now, let's go to Psalms 94 and 16. Psalm 94 and 16. Because that's the being with that mark on their forehead, in their mind, this truth. Meditating on this truth day and night, comparing things in this world to the truth of what this Bible is talking about, the word of the Most High. Psalms 94 and 16. Who will rise up for me, the Most High said, against the evildoers? He said, who gonna rise up for the Most High against the evildoers? Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? Remember all the abominations that's being done amongst us? He already told you what he's gonna do to those that have committed abominations. They're gonna be put to death. Because you're gonna have, right now we fishers, he's gonna send for them hunters. Them hunters gonna hunt everybody. Them hunters gonna hunt everybody. That's why he said, hey, and they're gonna have that mark on their forehead. But he asking, who will rise up for me against the evildoers? Or who will stand up for me against the workers of iniquity? Those that want to sin against the Most High. Who's gonna do it? The answer is in Wisdom of Solomon 5 and 1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. You think about this. You know, the righteous men are standing in the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors. Afflicted us in bringing us to the shores of America. First and foremost, hold up. Coming to the shores of America and taking us off our land and settling us back to Europe, and then Europe to Africa, and from Africa to America. You see? And taking us from our land and bringing us over here on slave ships, afflicting us for over 400 years now, and made no account of his labors. That's what a righteous man doing. Standing in the boldness, great boldness, before the face of such as afflicted him and made no account of his labors. What reparations for? Slavery. Everybody talking about reparation, where they at? Made no account of his labors. Listen, when they see it, oh yeah, ain't nothing more powerful than the truth. And when they see it, they see us standing, the righteous man standing in great boldness in the face of such that have afflicted us and made no account of our labors. When they see it, they shall be troubled with terrible fear. Oh yeah, it makes them afraid, scared. It shall be amazed at the strangeness of his salvation. It will be amazed at the strangeness of our salvation. Yasharallah. So far beyond all they look for. Because they think all you do is call on the name of Jesus, you're going to be saved. Well, salvation comes from. Saved come from salvation. You see? Powers and authority, really. That's being saved. They're going to be amazed at the strangeness of our salvation. Because they have thought themselves, look, go to, this is how they think. Wow, a spirit. Turn the page, it's right there. Isaiah 14. Praise the Most High, about so much I gotta say. He's on it again. Isaiah 14 and 14. This is what they say. They said, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. So they're above the heights of the clouds. Got their space station out there. They got their jets flying and so forth. They said, I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. This is what you're seeing right now. And cloning people and cloning this, and we got all kind of entities in this world right now. We don't know what all it is. I mean, it's just crazy. It's crazy, y'all. It's on another page. All the things that's happening in this world that we're not even privileged to. You see? But in the end, it's gonna be about the Most High. He gonna be all in all. Believe this. He gonna be all in all. No more, no less. Everybody gonna bow down to the Most High. So this is what they say. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. See? You can't deny that. Okay, here it is. Y'all might have seen it in a while. I got to bring it out because it's the Holy Bible. I will be like the Most High. See? Look. There he is, right? I'll be like the Most High. There he is. I'll be like the Most High. So, you can't deny that. It's right there in the Bible. He said, I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell. You hear what the Most High said to them? Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. Listen, they that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, is this the man? This is Lucifer y'all talk about. Is this the man? Lucifer is a man. That red man, Edomites, that made the earth to tremble. That did what? Made the earth to tremble. Aren't they making the earth tremble right now? When they bombing, they just bombed Gaza, just took a building out. Made the earth to tremble. They dropped the atomic bomb on Hiroshima and Nagasaki in Japan, right? And did shake kingdoms? Come on, who dropping bombs from the air? Made the earth to tremble and did shake kingdoms, that made the world as a wilderness and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. Who is this? All the prisoners, all the Israelites that's in prison. They ain't opened up no doors to the prisons. Look at Luke 17 and 16. Luke 17 and 16. And fell down on his face at his feet, giving him thanks. And he was a Samaritan. And the Messiah was to answer, he said, where There are not 10 cleansed, but where are the 9? Only one. Where are the 9? 10 people cleansed, only one came. There are not found that return to give glory to the Most High, save this stranger. And he said unto him, Arise, go thy way, thy faith has made thee whole. And every time that someone would feel that all they got to do is do this, have faith in the Most High, by someone they were healed. And he would say, what? Listen to what he's saying. And you got to hear this, because if you don't have this, you're not going to be healed. You might be one that's going down in that pit too. He said, and he said unto him, 10 men that had leprosy. Only one. Only one. Like a lot of you receive blessings or you be exalted, and you take the exaltation and you become prideful. You become conceited. But it's 10 lepers, and only one came to give glory to the Most High. Only one. So look at verse 15. And one of them out of the 10, when he saw that he was healed, turned back and with a loud voice glorified the Most High, praised the Most High. See, we looking at thinking we ready for the kingdom. When you see little blessings that you just take for granted, that's nothing to you. It means nothing to you. Like he healed 10 lepers. That's why, leprosy is what they call today vitiligo. When your pigment is gone, you start looking like the palm of your head, the palm of my hand start looking like, my face start looking like the palm of my hand, or the bottom of your feet. That's leprosy. That's leprous right there. Pigment. You got pigment in your hands and so forth. If you brown, you got pigment and melanin. That's why he said, verse 7, and Amasa answering said, were there not 10 cleansed? Wasn't it 10 cleaned up? But where are the 9? Say, where are the other 9? Where are you that really been blessed and you just overshadow it like it's nothing? And it might be a little blessing, but it's still a blessing. Say, what other 9 that I healed? Nowhere to be found. They are not found that return to give glory to the Most High, save the stranger. Is nobody giving glory to the Most High, save the stranger? But yet still you won't make it to the kingdom? This is what he said. And he said unto him, Arise, go thy way, thy faith has made thee whole. But look, let's go show this the scenario. Verse 11. And it came to pass as he went to Jerusalem that he passed through the midst of Samaria and Galilee. That's in northern Israel. And as he entered into a certain village, there met him 10 men that were lepers. So they had leprosy, which stood afar off. You can read about leprosy in Leviticus 13th chapter. And they lifted up their voices and said, Yahushua, Master, have mercy on us. And when he saw them, he said unto them, Go show yourselves unto the priests. And it came to pass that as they went, they were cleansed. As they went, they were cleansed. And one of them, when he saw that he was healed, turned back, and with a loud voice glorified the Most High. But it was 10 of them. That's why he asked, where's the 9 at? It's like some of you. You be blessed and you don't give glory to the Most High. You want to take glory for yourself. And the Most High is blessing you, and then you like, okay, he's checking you out. And it's like, okay, well, like I said, on the right side, you give glory to the Most High. On the left side, you give glory to yourself. Look what I did. Look what I did. You know, I heard someone say, you know, what they did to turn somebody away from being the way they were. The Most High the one that did whatever you do. He said, look, he said, whatever you make, it's mine. Everything is mine. The heavens, the earth, everything is the Most High's. What are you going to say is yours? He gave you breath. And when he wants to, he take it back. Poof. That's why he said your faith has made thee whole. Verse 20. And when he was demanded of the Pharisees, I'm going to jump up to verse 26. Jump to 26. And as it was in the days of Noah, since you have faith, you say you believe in the Most High. And as it was in the days of Noah, he gave many case scenarios, like the woman with the blood issue that for 12 years. She believed. That's faith. She believed. But some of my second say all she had to do was touch the hem of his garment. And when she touched the hem of his garment, he felt virtue come from him. And he told her, your faith has healed you. So where's your faith? So when you got faith, you ask for it, and then you believe that you receive it. Therefore, you start saying that you're going to receive it before you receive it. Sound crazy, right? But that's where it is. That's what works. You don't believe it? How you going to believe in the Most High? You done pray for something, then you doubt it. You can't doubt. This is no doubt. Period. That cancels out the Most High. Now you on your own. That's why it tells you in Ecclesiastes 3:24, but many are deceived by their own vain opinion, worthless thoughts. And in evil, that's when you let evil come in, you let the devil come in, then evil comes in and destroys their judgment. You make the wrong judgment, paraphrasing. Any way you think, just got to coincide with this word, or it's off. He said, and as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be also in the days of the Son of Man. As it was in the days of Noah, so it's going to be when Mashiach come back. They did eat, they drank, they married wives, they were given in marriage until the day that Noah entered into the ark. And the flood came. Only this time going to be fire. The flood came, the fire going to come and destroyed them all. Going to destroy a whole lot of our people. Likewise also as it was in the days of Lot. Remember Lot? In Sodom and Gomorrah, they did eat, they drank, they bought, they sold, they planted, they buried, they built it. But the same day that Lot went out of Sodom, it rained fire and brimstone from heaven and destroyed them all. He's letting you know, he's coming to destroy people. Either you're going to be on the right side or you're going to be on the wrong side, the left side. Even thus shall it be in the day when the Son of Man is revealed. It's going to be the same way. In that day, he which shall be upon the housetop, and his stuff in the house, let him not come down to take it away. Don't come down trying to save nothing. And he that is in the field, you out there in the field, somewhere in the world, let him likewise not return back. Don't go back. Remember Lot's wife? She a pillar of stone. See, don't turn around, you're going to turn into a pillar of stone. She turned around. She turned into a pillar of stone. Whosoever shall seek to save his life shall lose it. And whosoever shall lose his life shall preserve it. That's like everything, you gotta let everything go. He letting you know that whatever this material things, whatever you have, whatever, it's over. Especially you live in America, it's gonna be crispy. He's gonna destroy this place. Everything in it. He said, I tell you, in that night, there shall be two men in one bed. The one shall be taken and the other shall be left. Two women shall be grinding together at the mill, working. The one shall be taken, and the other left. 2 men shall be in the field, the one shall be taken, and the other left. And he answered and said unto him, Where, Mashiach Yahushai? Where this going to happen? This is what he said. And he said unto them, Wheresoever the body is, and the main body of learning this truth is right here in this Western Hemisphere. He said, wheresoever the body of a Mashiach Yahushua is, but we scattered all over the world, thither will the eagles be gathered together. The eagles will be gathered together. That's a clear sign of giving us the understanding of what to look for. Because we know that the eagles, that's a sign that represent a certain people, right? And it tells you in Obadiah, the book of Obadiah, the prophet Obadiah, the first verse, let's read it. It say, the vision of Obadiah, thus said the Most High Power concerning Edom. And Edom is the biblical name for the aboriginal so-called white man in his lineage. Verse 4. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, look at that symbol on the dollar bill, symbol on the post office. They put them on the top of the flags and so forth. Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and thou set thy nest among the stars. You say they're going to ascend into the heavens, set their nest among the stars. Thence will I bring thee down, said the Most High. So he's coming down. So now, he let you know, wheresoever the body is, in Luke 17:37, thither will the eagles be gathered together. They're going to be gathered together. Edomites, where the body is. Why? Because you got to look at it. I mean, it don't take a rocket science to figure this out. When you look at all the things that's been presented to you, go to Revelation 12. Revelation 12 and 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe, destruction to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. Those brothers and sisters that's on the earth and brothers and sisters that's in the sea. Woe and destruction to you. For the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time. So he's coming out with great wrath because he know he have a short time. Now y'all see the devil is not just some entity that's coming from underground with a red suit and a red pitchfork. The devil's walking around doing the things that he do. You've been seeing him do what he do. Look, y'all better recognize, understand. Many devils. Look at what it says in Revelation 2 and 10. So we're in Revelation. It says, fear none of those things which thou shalt suffer. Suffer, right? The devil comes down with much wrath because he knows he have a short time. Fear none of those things which you shall suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison. The devil. Well, my Sheikh Shai saying it. He said, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried, and you shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful unto death. Like the man that just was cured of having leprosy. He was faithful. And he gave glory to the Most High. That's what we got to do, glorify the Most High. Praise the Most High, praise the Most High, praise the Most High. All the time. You can't praise him enough. Angels are before him 24/7, praising him, beyond what we can say it. Fast as we can say it, fast as probably we can say it. And it says they're going to the Most High with sorrowful, so sorry that we can't even get that sad. But here we are, thinking we are. That's why I say going to be great perils, great dangers to those that dwell in the last days because of great pride on this earth. He said, fear none of those things which you shall suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that you may be tried, and ye shall have tribulation 10 days. Be thou faithful again, believe in the Most High unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. That crown of life is coming. So now we know that the devil represents who's put us in prison. Now let's jump to verse 17 of Revelation, the 12 chapters. And we know the devil have a short time, so we come down with much wrath. It says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman. Now the woman, that dragon, the same dragon that we read about in verse 3. Revelation 12 and 3. And there appeared another wonder in heaven. Behold, a great red dragon. So we know the dragon is red. Esau's red. When you read Genesis 25:25. Having 7 heads and 10 horns and 7 crowns upon his head. 7 heads, the 7 leading superpowers of the Edomite nation. The Greeks, the Romans, the Spanish, the French, the Germans, the Russians, the British. And having 10, the heads, and 10 horns represent the EEC, the European Economic Community, or the European Community, or the NATO today. And they try and change them up, but it's really initially was 10, you know. But verse 17 says, and the dragon, who is the devil, who is that serpent that we read about in 9, verse 9, and the great dragon, we know the dragon's red, was cast out, the old serpent of Genesis, the 3rd chapter, called the devil and Satan. See, they all red. And Esau's red, which deceived the whole world, lied to the whole world until this day. Now you gonna tell me this is true? Back it up. Tell me this is true in Scripture. Tell me that's true. The Most High that's how the Most High look. Back that up in Scripture. It's the Holy Bible. It should be in this Bible. Should be in this Bible. You should be able to find somewhere that the Most High looked like an Edomite. A butt-naked Edomite with a towel around his genital. Dang on sheet or whatever around his genital. That's the Most High. Prove it. In the Bible. It say, look, it say Holy Bible. Holy Bible. So you ain't getting it twisted. It say Holy Bible. It says, verse 9 of Revelation 12 chapter, and the great dragon was cast out, the old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceived the whole world, lied to the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. See? So, verse 17 said, and the dragon was wroth with the woman. See, it's coded. It's coded. But when you see it, and you see all these people trying to break it down, and they be off because they're not dealing with nationality. The book this is our book. And it's coded to let us know what it is that we need to know in these last days. And the dragon was wroth with the woman. Who's the woman? Jeremiah 6 and 2. Jeremiah 6 and 2. This particular case represents this woman. I have likened the daughter of Zion to a comely and delicate woman. See? That's why you got to know precepts. By the time you get to Revelation, you got to precept everything, pretty much. I'm just getting to making a point, though. But it says in Revelation 12 and 17, and the dragon, which is the devil, Satan, Esau, the Edomites, the beast, all of that, was wrought with the woman, which represent the Israelites, because Zion represents the Israelites, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed. That's the 1/3 of the 12 tribes of Israel. That do what? Which keep the commandments of the Most High. With most people that go to church, they say what? We're not under the law, but we're in mercy and grace. We've been grafted in, and we got to speak. We got to be filled with the Holy Ghost and speak in tongues. That's their doctrine, right? But they don't know who been grafted in among. That's what they teach. They're not under the commandments, so they're not keeping the commandments. But he's coming after those that keep the commandments of the Most High and have the testimony of Mashiach Yahushua. You hear that? That's why when you look at, go to Ezekiel, the 35th chapter. Ezekiel, the 35th chapter. in verse 1, it says, moreover, the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir. So what does that mean to someone that really understand who he's talking about? Because mount mean mountain. You mean the Most High going to tell Ezekiel to go talk to a mountain? No. You say, talk about the land. He's talking about the people that's on the land, the people that's in the mountains. These are mountainous people. He said, moreover, the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir. So he says, set your face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. Talk against Mount Seir. So when it says Mount Seir, what does that mean? We got to find out. Go to Genesis. The book of Genesis. The 36th chapter. And let's read verse 1. Now these are the generation of Esau, who is Edom. You read about Esau's birth in Genesis 25:25. The first came out red and hairy all over like a hairy garment. They called his name Esau, right? So when we jump up to verse 8, they say, thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. See? So Esau is Edom. So, and it became the Edomites as a nation. So it says, thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. So when we say go prophesy against Mount Seir, he's saying prophesy against the Edomites, the so-called aboriginal white man. So now going back to Ezekiel 35th chapter, now that we establish who Mount Seir is, and that's how you get understanding to the precepts, let's read it again. Ezekiel 35:1. Moreover, the word of the Most High came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. So what is he saying? Prophesy against the Edomites, the so-called white men, and the so-called white people. And say unto it, thus said the Most High power, verse 3, behold, O Mount Seir, or Edomites, or so-called Caucasians, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. He said, I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, just like he did Jerusalem, just like he did Israel, the land of Israel. That land is desolate. A lot of it is just, it's beautiful land, but nothing's growing there. He said, I'm going to lay you desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Most High. Not who you put in that Bible. He said, you're going to know that he is the Most High. Man with pure woolly hair, dark skin like his son, like father like son. Dark skinned man with pure woolly hair, pure nappy hair. The scripture says. Why? He's going to lay them desolate, because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and have shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword. When? You remember we just read in Revelation 12:17. He coming out with much wrath against those that keep the commandments of the Most High, and the testimony of a Mashiach Yahushua. He's saying, and have shed the blood of the children of Israel. When? By the force of the sword. When? In the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. You see? So that's why this judgment is coming down. Because he's telling you, one reason is because they have shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword in the time of their calamity, in the time of Jacob's trouble. In the time that their iniquity had an end. See, we just read about it. We're seeing what the Most High have to say. Therefore, as I live, and he lived forever, said the Most High. That's why I say you're going to know that he is the Most High. He said over and over again. when them tornadoes and them hurricanes and earthquakes hit and tidal waves. Nobody talk about, oh, Mother Nature. Oh, Mother Nature, please stop. Nobody cry about no Mother Nature. Oh, La Nina, stop, please. Don't kill us. El Nino, please stop. Nobody crying. They crying, oh, God. Oh, God. They feeling the pain of the Most High, the wrath of the Most High. For real, for real. You better ask somebody that's been involved with something like that. Therefore, as I live, said the Most High, verse 6, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee. Since thou hast not hated blood, with all the murder and the killing that has been done, you think about all the murder that was done just to get America, or the North American Indians, the indigenous people that was here, and the other tribes. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. Thus will I make Mount Seir most desolate. It's going to be destroyed. And cut off from it him that passes out, and him that returneth, and I will fill his mountains with his slain men. In thy hills and in thy valleys and in all thy rivers shall they fall that are slain with the sword. I will make thee perpetual desolations, and thy city shall not return. And ye shall know that I am the Most High. See? So you're going to know that he is the Most High. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine. The land of Israel and over here in this Western Hemisphere. Because thou hast said, these two nations and these two countries shall be mine, and we will possess it. Whereas the Most High was there because his people was there. Therefore, as I live, and he lived forever and ever and ever, said the Most High, I will even do according to thine anger. You know what he said? That's payback. He said, I'm going to do according to your anger, and according to thine envy, which thou hast used out of thy hatred against them. And I will make myself known among them, as he has, and he is, when I have judged thee. So you gotta understand this. And thou shalt know that I am the Most High. He said it 3 times to you. And that I've heard all thy blasphemies, which thou hast spoken against the mountains of Israel, against his holy people, the 12 tribes of Israel, saying, they are laid desolate, they are given us to consume. Thus with your mouth ye have boasted against me, and have multiplied your words against me. I have heard them. Most I telling you. He hear what you said. He heard what you said. He heard what you saying. He heard what you're going to say. Thus said the Most High Power, when the whole earth rejoices, when the whole earth is rejoicing in happiness and joy, I will make thee desolate. As thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel when you received us in slavery, captivity, and bondage, took everything that we had, because it was desolate, so will I do unto thee. That's payback. It's payback. Thou shalt be desolate, O Mount Seir, O Edomites, and all Idumea. Come on now. He let you know, since y'all think, a lot of y'all think, oh, he's not talking about so-called white man. Idumea. Let's look that up in the Zondervan Compact Bible Dictionary. Idumea. Just see what it says concerning Idumea. Idumea, pertaining to Edom. Greek and Roman name for Edom. See, Greek and Roman name for Edom, the so-called white man. So, he said, verse 15, And thou didst rejoice at the inheritance of the house of Israel. Like we fell in 70 AD. No, not only that, I mean, look at what they did when the Babylonians came and took us into captivity. In the book of First Ezra, the 4th chapter and the 45th verse. Thou also hast vowed to build up the temple which the Edomites burned. They burned down our temple when Judea was made desolate by the Chaldeans, by the Babylonians, the Cushites, the Ethiopians, Babylonians, Nebuchadnezzar. They burnt down our temple. And many things, when we go into the Feast of Dedication, the things that they did. And sacrificing swine flesh on our altar, destroyed our temple many times. They've done this. This is the first time. It was even, that's us going into captivity. That's why he said, goes back to the book of Obadiah, right after Amos. It's 21 verses that the Most High gave him. Obadiah, since we already established it's talking about the Edomites. Look what he said in verse 10. He said, for thy violence against thy brother Jacob, shame shall cover thee, and thou shalt be cut off forever. Hear that? Thou shalt be cut off forever. Listen what it say. In the day that thou stoodest on the other side, in the day that the strangers carried away captive his forces, like we went into captivity under the Babylonians, and foreigners entered into his gates and cast lots upon Jerusalem, even thou was as one of them. Right along with these nations that took us into captivity, they was like one of them. This is our fraternal, evil, so-called brother, Jacob and Esau. But thou should have not have looked on the day of thy brother, in the day that he became a stranger. Neither should thou have rejoiced, being happy as ever over the children of Judah in the day of their destruction. Neither should thou have spoken proudly in the day of distress. Just tell you what they did. Thou shouldst not have entered into the gate of my people in the day of their calamity. Yeah, thou shouldst not have looked on their affliction in the day of their calamity, nor have laid hands on their substance in the day of their calamity. Took what we had. Neither shouldst thou have stood in the crossway. Check this out. Stood in the crossway, we running, trying to get away, to cut off those of his that did escape. We escaping. We figure we free. And they stand in the way to block us, to give us to one of our enemies. What did he say? Neither should thou have stood in the crossway to cut off those of his that did escape. Is this why the churches don't want to go to the Old Testament? Because revealing the truth. Neither should thou have delivered up those of his that did remain in the day of distress. For the day of the Most High is near. It's near, y'all. It's near. Upon all the heathen, these other nations. As thou hast done, all you other nations, as you have done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. For as ye have drunk upon my holy mountain, taking the land of Israel, taking this western hemisphere and so forth, all over, everywhere you went and conquered and killed the people and took the land, so shall all the heathen drink continually. Yeah, they shall drink, and they shall swallow down, and they shall be as though they had not been. You hear that? He's going to make an end of these nations that we know, as we know now. He said he's going to make an end of all the nations, as we know now. Because the judgment is coming. This is judgment. Because they haven't been judged. But upon Mount Zion, upon the 12 tribes of Israel, the 1/3 that's going to be redeemed, shall be deliverance. He's going to deliver us. And there shall be holiness. It's going to be righteous and pure in the eyes of the Most High. And the house of Jacob shall possess their possessions. Go on all that they have. Because you're going into captivity, slavery and bondage, in a righteous kingdom. But still, you got to pay. Go to Matthew the 24th chapter, verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? That we hearing about, we reading about, and we hearing about. And what shall be the sign of thy coming? He coming. And of the end of this world, the end of the world. You know? So look at 2nd Ezra 6 and 7. In the Apocrypha. The end of the world, right? 2nd Ezra 6 and 7. Then answered I and said, What shall be the part of the son of the times? Ezra asking the same thing. We're going to be the end of this world. Part of the son of the times. Or when shall it be the end of the first is the world that we're living in now, and the beginning of it that followeth. Hear that? The world that we're living in now, and the beginning of it that followeth. And he said unto me, From Abraham and Isaac, when Jacob and Esau were born, all the way back to Genesis 25 and 25 and 26 of him, Jacob held first the heel of Esau. He was fighting in the womb. Jacob and Esau. Jacob was the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, whose name was changed to Israel, who became the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. But they were fighting in the womb. That's why I say Jacob's hand held first the heel of Esau. You read about that when you read Genesis, start at Genesis 25, 19 down. It says, For Esau, the so-called white man, is the end of the world. I mean, he had to be ruling at the end of the world. They asked him, when will the end be? Ezra asked him, when the end going to be? For Esau is the end of the world. And Jacob, who was the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel, is the beginning of it that followeth. We got next. Forever and ever and ever. That's why I look at, because they asked them, when should this happen? And it say, let's read verse 3 of Matthew the 24th chapter. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Now we just read, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of that following, right? So we say, when shall this be? The sign of thy coming and the end of the world. And we know Daniel 7:18 says this. Daniel 7:18. But the saints of the Most High shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. We got next, forever and ever and ever. Who are the saints? Psalms 148:14. There's about to be somebody just coming on that really don't know